Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I've been extremely busy. Lots of audio review. I've got a lot of audio units out in the field, not just in the nest area. So I got a little time today, and I figured I would take some suspicious clips from the nest area that I've recorded this year uh, and go ahead and play them for you. The first clip is from January 24th. In nest area 3, which is an area close to the nest that Todd Hale and Shane Corson found being built in 2020. We have three different individuals vocalizing in this clip. The middle individual, I believe, is the same individual from Chimp Fit. The whoop signature is identical, and the tone and pitch of the call is almost identical. The last signature over here is a descending whoop. I've actually heard that in person and recorded that before as well. The first whoop is lower, and I believe a different individual. I'm going to head and play it now. It's going to loop, play 3 times. Okay, once again, that was January 24th at 7:42 p.m. As I said, I really like this particular clip, um, mainly because the second vocal and this last vocal I've heard in person, and to have them both occur at the same time from different distances tells me it is two different animals. So that excites me right there. Stay tuned. So this next clip is an example of what I call a high-low vocalization. Also, it's kind of a singing vocalization. I believe David has examples of similar that he refers to as singing. It's got that sing-song quality to it. This vocalizer is a little bit higher pitched. Kirk Brandenburg got a really good example of these high-low singing song kind of vocals back in 2020 on a camp out. That was much deeper, but we have examples of this in late winter, early spring in the nest area over the years. So it's a suspicious vocalization that occurs in other areas, and that I keep my eye out for. It's distant, but it's fairly clear. It's one animal. It's going from a lower vocal to a higher vocal and back down to a low vocal. So we'll go ahead and play it now. So this actually occurs January 25th at 1:11 a.m. Several hours after, about 6 hours after the whoops that I played for you in the first clip. So we suspect the target subjects are in the area, and we're getting vocalizations in the same night, in the same area. This is from Nest Area 3 once again. So stay tuned for our next clip. Okay, this next clip is from January 26th, 7:30 p.m. Once again, it's around the same time the whoops occurred the night before. It's in the same area, Nest Area 3, and they are distant, but they fall in the suspicious category. I refer to them as long owls or howl moans, what have you. And there is a shift in this closer one. There's 3 total, and it's something we look for. It's suspicious. I can't say that it is the target subjects for sure, but it has all the characteristics visually and tonality to what we look for. It's just one clip. I'm going to go ahead and play it. It's a little bit longer. Now, I know it's probably hard to hear these, but as I said, there are visual characteristics about these that make them suspicious. And I will point out the very first howl, though there's a shift in it, it's one howl, is 9 seconds long. That's pretty long. And you'll notice visually they are all very long and flat. That's what we're looking for. So that's an example of a long howl, and we'll move on to another clip. Okay, this clip is from February 12th in area NA1B. This is an area that's between Nest Area 3 and Nest Area 1. Nest Area 1 is the original nest site. Nest Area 3, once again, is where the new nest was found by Todd Hale and Shane Corson. This particular area I have the SM4 in, and this clip, I've shortened it. Was quite a bit of dead space between some of the vocals, so the original clip's about 2 minutes long, and I've shortened it up a little bit. You have multiple animals vocalizing. These are really primate-like vocals. There's 2 vocals here. This one's a distant animal, and this animal responds instantly to this animal much closer to the recorder. I refer to this particular one especially as a horn vocal or horn-like vocal. You'll hear it. It sounds like a foghorn. But this animal is not far from the recorder at all. None of these animals are actually, they're just vocalizing very quietly. We'll go ahead and play the clip. Okay, everyone should recognize this last vocal. It's a whoop. The other vocals, honestly, I've never encountered them before. There is quite a few very low vocalizations in here. Um, like I said, these animals are not far from the recorder. They're just not vocalizing loudly, whatever they're doing. This occurred at 6:37 p.m. February 12th, and over the next 40 minutes, I get similar. I'm going to play one more clip during this 40-minute period with some much more aggressive, I guess, vocals. Well, I wouldn't say aggressive, but they're different. Um, it is what it is. It's one of my new favorite clips because I can't say what it is, honestly. Okay, once again, this is February 12th. And this is at 6:55 p.m. The last clip I played for you was at 6:37 p.m. You'll see some more of those interesting vocalizations right here. I did shorten this clip as well. There was some dead space between these vocals here and these vocals here. Uh, I'll just play it. So that animal, this animal right here, is very close to the recorder. I get the impression it was asleep and woke up. I did get several more of these I call snort grunts over the period of time from 6:37 p.m. to around 7:10 p.m. February 12th. Uh, I've done some comparison and looking at these, and the whole scenario just is different. It doesn't completely match up with anything known. I can tell you this animal right here is very large. Uh, that's what I'm getting from the recording. A very large animal. And of course, these vocalizations here are low and a different animal than these vocalizations. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, once again, this is nest area 1B, same area where the previous clips came from, where the SM4 is located. And over time, I can say that uh, our target subjects are aware of that recorder and seem to uh, return to it occasionally and make suspicious sounds. And that's just my opinion. Um, this is March 25th at 8:45 p.m. You'll hear brush movement. I did try to filter out the airplane that's flying overhead, of course. Some of the best, most interesting stuff happens when airplanes fly overhead. It's really annoying. Uh, anyways, you can hear brush movement here. These are vocals. Um, the best way I can describe them is grunts. And you'll hear this action right here. I'll go ahead and play the clip and then tell you what I think it is. And mind you, it's all hypotheses. I hope that comes through in the YouTube. But there's some like panting, huffing going on here, brush movement, and these are like huff, um, huff vocals. And then this is a whipping sound. It sounds a lot like um, something being whipped around, possibly a stick. Uh, I'll play it again and let you listen to it again. I hope it comes through, but it's just really interesting. It's an odd one. Um, I like it though. Okay, so this is the same night as the last clip um, in the same area, near nest area 1-8B. This would be March 26th at 2:28 a.m. The last clip was an individual um, doing, I don't know, whipping a stick around. That's what it sounded like to me. But this is later on that evening at 2:28 a.m. And this is a clip I really like. It's looped. It's whistles. And for those of you who have followed me and know me, I have a thing about whistles because when I first started recording, pretty much one of the first suspect vocalizations I ever recorded were whistles that I actually heard in person in Area X1. Over the years, I've recorded a number of whistles there, and they all have some similar characteristics. They all run between 1,000 and 1,500 hertz. They're usually two or three whistles, tuneless whistles. They're not a tune, they're just uh, whistles of something that can whistle but doesn't know any songs to whistle. Uh, that's what these are, basically. I have other whistles which are definitely communication type whistles. They're communicating to each other, but whistles like these here are just like the individual is whistling to whistle. Once again, this is at 2:28 a.m. I did have to amp and filter it because it was distant from the recorder, but I think you'll hear what I'm talking about. I really like these because they're very, very similar to the whistles I've recorded in Area X1. When you get whistles in the middle of the night like this, in areas where no human should be whistling, no reason for a human to be there, um, it becomes extremely suspicious. And as most of you know, if you haven't read Kathy Strain's um, Monsters and Cannibals, about Native American folklore, the tribes, the Yakima tribe, the Puyallup tribe, and I believe the Chehalis tribe here in Washington do talk about our target subjects whistling. So it's cool when I capture whistles. And it's really cool when I capture similar whistles from different areas of Washington. Okay, so we're going to jump forward to April, and April 12th at 1:11 a.m. This is Nest Area 3. So we've moved back over. Nest Area 3 is probably a half a mile from nest area 1. So it's on a different ravine. But we are seeing some patterns of movement uh, around the area. When I refer to the nest area, I'm referring to a much larger area than just actually where the specific nests are found. So this is a distant moan howl. It has all the characteristics we look for, very long and flat, and starting out probably around 400 hertz and peaking just under 500 hertz. It's not particularly long. It's almost 6 seconds long. And then you have a canine. I think the howl would actually, if we were closer, it would show it longer. But you have a canine starting in right here, right after the howl. This is an unfiltered, unamped version. I'll play this real quick, and then I'll play you a filtered, looped version. If I can play it right. There we go. Okay, now we'll go ahead and switch screens over here. This is the same howl. I've looped it. I've cut the dog out. So part of the howl is lost because I cut the dog or canine out, and but you'll be able to hear the moan howl a little bit better. Looped, of course. Visually, it's exactly what we look for in a moan howl, and audibly, it has the ah ooh sound to it. Um, it's distant, but it's one of my favorites. From April 12th at 1:11 a.m. in Nest Area 3. Okay, this is going to be our last looped clip, and it is actually, we're going to go back in time. We're going to go back to March 12th, and I wanted to end with an actual personal experience, a clip of some audio we got while we were there. For the last year and a half, Shane, Rebecca, and I have gone into the nest area repetitively the same way. And we go and service the audio units in the same order every time. And we're just really doing the same thing every time, about once a month. And we've suspected we've been noticed before. We have recorded some other vocals and heard vocals while we were there before. Not a lot. And most times we go in, we don't hear anything, and and nothing happens. And that's pretty much most of the time we go in. And this is actually a good example of a time that something odd happened, but we didn't hear anything that I'm about to play for you. And this is why I always stress to people, if you're going to go out in the field, especially investigating this subject, bring a recorder and turn it on. Turn it on before you get out of your vehicle. So this is one of those occasions. We go to Nest Area 3 first and service audio and game cameras. I turned my recorder on, gave a time and date, and then got out of Shane's vehicle. We went into the area, and Rebecca was servicing her game cameras, and I was servicing the LTR, long-term recording unit. And Shane decided to peel off and go set up another game camera in a different area on our back trail. While he was gone, he got back towards where the rig was, and he was only 200 yards, 150, 200 yards from us, so he could actually hear me and Rebecca talking. Rebecca was excited. She had a bobcat, I believe, on her game camera that she was telling me about. And from his position, he couldn't see us because the huckleberry is about 9 feet tall in this area, but he could hear us. But what he also heard was some large brush movement, and the brush movement The huckleberry movement was going towards me and Rebecca. He tried to call me on his cell phone. I didn't answer because my cell phone was on airplane mode. So the battery wouldn't die, looking for a signal that it normally doesn't have. When I didn't pick up, he got worried and was because something large was moving through the brush towards us, and he started going back towards the trail to um, let us know, hey, something's moving towards you. In the meantime, I didn't hear any of this. Rebecca had heard the brush movement, and there's some branch breaks. I didn't hear any of it. I was in my own little world, um, messing with the recorder, and she assumed she was hearing Shane. Anyways, we met Shane halfway on the trail on the way out, and he was all kind of worried. He actually drew his weapon, and he said what he heard, and so we went back and we kind of stuck around and looked around. We didn't see anything, we didn't hear anything else, and went about our day. Went over to Nest Area 1 and took care of those recorders and the game cameras we had over there, and came home. Well, when I got home, I took the recorder um, that I had going on my head. I strap it to my head. I've been doing that since 2015, since I first started going into Area X1. Anyways, I started reviewing, and sure enough, the minute we get out of the rig, there's actually a whoop that we didn't hear because me and Shane were talking. And several minutes later, as we're going into the area this particular clip happens, there's three vocals. There's a vocal right here. There's a perfect slide whistle whoop right here. And there's another whoop right here, but that's me moving. We didn't hear any of this, but my recorder picked it up. And that's why you carry a recorder. Moving through the brush, talking, you're going to miss stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. I love the slide whistle whoop, and that's a perfect example of it. Like I said, we didn't hear any of this, and that's why you always carry a recorder on you, person. There it is. I hope you enjoyed this video of suspicious sounds from the nest area. Let's see, I've reviewed last year 3,800 hours, and this year I'm actually recording more than that. So if my videos are slow in coming, it's because I'm really, really busy. I am looking at a lot of audio, and I'm not only covering the nest area, I'm covering two other areas. Um, there'll be more videos with more suspicious sounds in the future. Probably another 4 or 5 months from now, but I'm still plugging away, and I hope you all enjoy it. Take care.